Black History Month is not our month. American Indian Heritage Month is our month. I know there's people that's going to think what I'm saying is nonsense, so here's source number one. And this is the very first image you will see in this book. Most of these northward Indians are between 5 and 6 foot high, straight-bodied, strongly composed, smooth-skinned, merry countenanced, of complexion more swarthy or black than the Spaniards. And the Spaniards at these times were black conquistadors. Not all, obviously. We right here. The inhabitants are of complexion tawny, their hair long and curled. We know Native Americans' hair is long and straight. The same guy who published those images in the book I was just reading from also created these copper engravings. And note, these were published in 1673. Look how much it's going for. And it's just a copper engraving, which is just an image. Here's a better look. Now, when you zoom even further in, you can kind of see that these people even got afros. In the about, it says, it presents a vivid scene set in colonial New Mexico, showcasing a moment of interaction, possibly a ceremonial or everyday event, between indigenous people and European settlers or explorers. The detailed attire and adornments of the figures suggest a narrative rich in cultural exchange and complexity. The piece is not only a reflection of the artistic style and engraving techniques of the 17th century, but also serves as a historical document capturing the early encounters between different worlds. This is a historical document. Primitive man in Ohio. This dates from 1892. We cannot overlook the fact that the crania and skeletons examined by us, many of them excavated by our own hands, approach somewhat the Negro in their anatomical characteristics. These are those of an inferior race with strong meso and brachycephalic affinities. None of the characteristics of the Mongolian or of Mongoloid types are present in any of the Ohio crania which we have examined. They are evidently those of a people whose racial type was created and fixed on the American continent, in other words, the American race. So they're letting you know that there's a Negroid or Negro race that's aboriginal to the American continent. Then we have this scientific article from April of 1939, Negro skeletal remains from Indian sites in the West Indies. The recent paper in his journal by Buxton, Trevor, and Julian implies that an underformed Negroid physical type inhabited the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian times. A Voyage to Senegal, or historical, philosophical, and political memoirs relative to the discoveries, establishments, and commerce of Europeans in the Atlantic Ocean from 1806. I shall add another reflection of public utility. The blacks are a kind of man destined by nature to inhabit Africa and America. She has created them for burning regions. Let us, therefore, take care not to oppose her views or overthrow the barriers which she has established. Meaning, the so-called black man or black race is native or natural to the Americas.